guys, today what I'm going to do is a very quick review on the Zowie EC1-A. This isn't going to be a very technical review. I will give you a link to the overclock.net review, which opens up the mouse and looks at certain aspects of it, such as switches and things like that. This is just going to be my thoughts on the mouse, and lucky enough I was sent one. As you can see, it turns up in a nice box, and with it comes just a very small manual and some extra mouse gates. In the manual, it just tells you about what DPIs are available and also how you can change the lift-off distance and also the mouse hertz. As default, it comes with 1000 mouse hertz and 400 DPI. The DPI does go up to 3200, as you can see there. So 400, 800, 1600 and 200 other steps. And this means that the Argofox 3310 sensor is not interpolated. So that brings me on to my first 2 points really about the mouse. What I absolutely love is that A, driverless, B, it has the Argofox 3310 sensor in it. Before I used the Zowie EC1 Evo CL, and I found that the Argofox 3090 felt very smooth and interpolated. And what I mean by that is that every time I moved the mouse, it felt that I was slightly behind with it, so it felt like almost like a 1 millisecond delay on my mouse movement. The other thing I want to compare it to is the shape. That brings me on to my next point. The shape is absolutely perfect. This is my very old trusty Intelli 3.0 Explorer, which I used when I was playing professionally in the CGS. This is the new EC1 Zowie, of course, and if you bring them side by side, they're practically identical shapes. And that is the main aspect that I look for a mouse. Is when I was trying to find a new mouse, I really wanted to find a mouse that replaced the Intelli 3.0. As of course the Intelli 3.0 now, it became a hassle going to LAN tournaments, having to overclock my mouse hertz, and also it just became an outdated sensor. There was a lot of flaws with it, but I became to love the shape. As you can also see, the Intelli is that the coating used to wear on the buttons on the side of the mouse. That's something that Zowie have actually tackled. The old EC1 Evo CL, they had a coating issue on some of their products, but now I can tell you that the coating is absolutely fine and perfect. I've been using this mouse for about a month, and it's absolutely brilliant. The first EC1 came with rubber coating, which I didn't really like at first. It felt I've got quite sweaty hands and my grip slipped on it. And then I swapped over to the Zowie CL coating, which is a very matte textured finish, and your hands sweat a little bit, the grip is absolutely perfect. So that's a thumbs up on that one. In terms of other things I like about it, switches. In terms of what I don't like about it is the switches. I believe the new EC1-A uses the hudzG switches, which also are in the FK, but because of the shell of the EC1, it feels the buttons are very soft to touch and click, which means sometimes I might double click, and that could be a problem when I want to tap shoot in games. So that's definitely I don't like. And also another thing I dislike about the mouse is the scroll wheel. Actually, I find the color quite off-putting if I'm playing in the dark, and also the scroll wheel, the mouse button 3 is very stiff to press. You probably can't see it, but when you're pressing it, it feels very hard to push in, which makes it very awkward to use as an active button in the game. Whereas on the 3.0, it was very easy, and I used to use it to switch grenades. So that's the other thing that I find a bit awkward about it. And the final thing is just shell. Sometimes it depends which version you get. On older mice, shell Zowie, sometimes they had a product quality issue where if you squeezed it, you could hear squeaks and cracks. Actually, I can actually say that all the new versions of the Zowie mice I've received have actually been perfect shells. So just bear that in mind, that you might have to RMA 1 or 2, but that's the same with every other product you buy on the market. 3.0s used to have this as a massive flaw. Sometimes on the factory line you'd get one of the buttons that didn't click properly, left or right. So it's just another thing to be wary of. But as far as I'm concerned, it's one of the best mouse I've ever tried. In terms of ease of use, it comes plug and play 1000 Hz, like I said. The shape is absolutely perfect. The mouse cord is another thing that I want to point out, is that it's non-braided and very soft, which means when I'm pushing it up against my mouse bungee, it moves and bounces off of it. Rather, I've had other mice that weigh less, but they use a very thick, heavy braided cord, and that actually gets in the way and interferes with my play. So that's another part of it. In terms of dimensions, the 3.0 Intelli 3.0 actually came in at 132 long, 69 width, and it weighed in at 163 grams. The EC1-A actually comes in at 128 meters length, and the width is between 64 and 69 from front to back. So they are pretty much identical, as I said. And also the EC1-A actually weighs slightly less, but in terms of when you actually pick them both up and in game, they pretty much feel identical. Maybe the Intelli is slightly heavier, but I actually prefer the lighter feel of the EC1-A. The other thing to note is the mouse feet. Mouse feet on the EC1-A actually come as standard now with Teflon, large Teflon feet, which used to be a big problem with the original 3.0. As you can see, that the original 3.0 used to come with black non-Teflon feet, and in the later version it came with 4 small Teflon feet, and this was okay, but I much prefer the EC1 with the big Teflon feet, because I really like a slippy mouse surface when I play in that glide. Combined with the Zowie mousepad, that is the absolute perfect setup for me. I used to play on a Roccat Taito, the MTW version, and in terms of slickness and speed, I find the Zowie mousepad perfect for that, and also very durable. As you can see, it doesn't fray on the sides. So I've been using this in conjunction with this for about a month now, and still has the same speed, whereas the Taitos used to wear out kind of quick. So in terms of that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take us into the CS, Counter-Strike, so you can see that the mouse has absolutely no acceleration and pretty much one-to-one pinpoint precision. That's something that's very key to me. The Avago 3310 sensor, which is in all the new Zowie mice now, feels very, very accurate when I'm playing, whereas the old sensor, which I mentioned, felt like it was slightly lagged behind. So that's definitely a big thumbs up for me, and in my opinion, it's the best sensor on the market. One thing to note is that I actually prefer, in terms of what I prefer on the other Zowie mouse, is the FK1. I much prefer the feel of the mouse clicks on the FK1. Feel a lot stiffer. I also actually prefer the scroll wheel on the FK1, not in terms of actually scrolling, but in terms of aesthetics. I like the solid, that there's no light on the FK1, and also that the mouse 3 button feels a lot easier to push. So I'm thinking about trying to get the ZA11 to test, because in terms of what would be the perfect mouse for me, I think it fits in terms of weight and the specifics with the mouse clicks. But what I'll do is I'll take us into game and just demonstrate that there's no acceleration when we play. Yeah, wrap this up. So just go into game. Okay, perfect. So now I'm in game. Basically, I use a 2.6 sensitivity. As you can see, when I'm moving the mouse, everything is just really, really specific and very accurate. Nothing's delayed. Everything feels a lot better than the 3.0 sensor. The 3.0 sensor was renowned for having negative acceleration and all sorts of problems, but it was the first professional mouse on the market. It's what all the pros use, so everyone followed suit, really. So as you can see, one end of the mouse pad to the other. If I swipe, everything is absolutely perfect. No acceleration, no delay. Perfect. And I always end up there, which is perfect for my sensitivity. So this mouse comes in the UK around £50, with shipping around 55. And in terms of tournament play, if you're looking to become a professional player, I would absolutely recommend any Zowie mouse, really. The FK1, the EC1-A, the EC2-A, and also the new ZA series. They offer a wide range of shapes now across the whole board. I've played with Zowie mouse from the very original EC1, One thing to note is if the EC1-A is a bit big for you, but you still like the shape, you can actually get the EC2, which is smaller, more like the Intelli 1.1 size, and that could suit you if you're a younger player or if you just have small hands. So yeah, hopefully I can get my hands on ZA11 to test, as there's a couple of features that I really like about it. Is they have a rim the edge of the mouse, which makes it easier to pick up. And also, I think I would prefer a lighter mouse, maybe just a tiny bit lighter, because I kind of got used to the FK1 and sometimes it can feel quite heavy. But in terms of a quality mouse for tournament play, I'd highly recommend you go out and grab one for £50. Build quality's perfect, warranty's perfect. I think you can't really find better on the market right now. So yeah, go check it out, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers, bye.